Good evening. This meeting of the Jefferson County Board will now come to order. Roll call, please.
We have 27 present and 3 absent.
Thank you. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I notice that we have some veterans in the room this evening. Would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're invited to remain standing for a moment to contemplate our service to the public. Thank you. Are we in compliance with open meeting law? We're in compliance, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Next up is approval of the agenda. I understand Supervisor Schultz has a request to rearrange.
Yes, sir. I request that we move item 10 to just after item 8, public comment.
Okay, is there any objection to that change in the order? Okay, we'll proceed as printed with that change. Next is approval of the February 11th, 2020 meeting minutes. Supervisor Renard, please.
I move approval of the minutes as printed.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes from February 11th, 2020 as printed. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. Next is communications.
The first thing we have is that the zoning committee notice of public hearing has been rescheduled to March 26th at 7 p.m. And then you will also find your treasurer's report on your desk, which is on this lime green paper. And then I have a few other communications that are not in your packets. Whereas Supervisor Jim Schrader served as the County Board Supervisor for District 19 from April 20th, 2010 to April 21st, 2020. And whereas during his time on the board, Supervisor Schrader served as County Board Chair for 3 terms from 2014 to 2020. And whereas during his time on the board, Supervisor Schrader served with distinction as the County Board Chair and also served on the Administration and Rules Committee, Building and Grounds Committee, Economic Development Consortium, JCEDC, Executive Committee, Human Resources Committee, Infrastructure, Inter-County Coordinating Committee, ICC, Solid Waste and Air Quality Committee, Strategic Plan Committee, Wisconsin County Utility Tax Association, Workforce Development Board of South Central Wisconsin, and Finance Committee. And whereas Supervisor Schrader provided valued insight and input on county policy and forward thinking on a wide range of issues to find a balanced solution to opportunities and challenges that arose. And whereas Supervisor Schrader was forward-thinking and visionary and established the Task Force on Operations and Organization, established the Strategic Plan Committee, and supported the development of the Broadband Working Group. And whereas Supervisor Schrader looked at and supported new ideas for the future of local government to include in advancing ideas internally, such as priority-based budgeting and promotion of collaborative efforts with other counties, communities, nonprofits, and business to build an ecosystem that benefited all stakeholders. And whereas Supervisor Schrader will be remembered for his time as chair in an effort to provide inclusiveness with the board and an effort to maintain focus on local issues and the future vision of Jefferson County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors meeting this 10th day of March 2020 does hereby honor Supervisor Jim Schrader for his public service and wishes him all happiness and prosperity in the years to come.
I think to make this official, we have to have a motion
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all. I miss you. Any other communications?
It's truly my honor to be asked to read this evening. Whereas Supervisor James Mode served as the County Board Supervisor for District 20 from April 15th, 2008 to April 21st, 2020. And whereas during his time on the board, Supervisor Mode served in numerous leadership roles to include first and second vice chair of the county board and long-term board chair of the Human Service Board. And whereas during his time on the board, Supervisor Mode served with distinction as the first and second vice chair of the county board, also served on the Executive Committee, Administration and Rules Committee, Aging and Disability Resource Center Advisory Committee, Broadband Working Group, County Administrator Search Committee, Economic Development, Farmland Conservation Easement Commission, Human Resources Committee, Human Services Board, Human Services Personnel and Finance Committee, the Marsh Country Health Alliance Commission, the Rock River Kashkonong Association, the Strategic Plan Committee, and the Finance Committee. And whereas Supervisor Mode served as Human Service Board Chair for 14 years, providing guidance and policy leadership to the department. And whereas Supervisor Mode served as the Executive Board of the Wisconsin County Human Service Association and as the chairperson of that board, attending monthly meetings in Stevens Point for over 10 years. And whereas Supervisor Mode provided valued insight and input on county policy on a wide range of issues, utilizing his diverse background and balancing policy decisions for all stakeholders of the county. And whereas Supervisor Mode will be remembered for his steadfast service to his constituents, providing a respected voice of reason and forward thinking for the needs of the future generations and to all the people of Jefferson County. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, meeting this 10th day of March 2020, does hereby honor Supervisor James Mode for his public service and wishes him all happiness and prosperity in the years to come.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
One more. Whereas Supervisor Ed Morse served as the County Board Supervisor for District 13 from April 20th, 2010 to April 21st, 2020. And whereas during his time on the board, Supervisor Morse served with distinction on the Board of Health, the Land and Water Conservation Committee, the Law Enforcement and Emergency Management Committee, Parks Committee, UW Extension Education Committee, the Historic Sites Preservation Commission, and was the first chair of the newly created Historic Sites Preservation Council. And whereas Supervisor Morse provided valued insight and input on county policy on a wide range of issues, and whereas Supervisor Morse will be remembered for his soft-spoken but steadfast service to his constituents and to all the people of Jefferson County, and particularly for his keen interest in documenting and preserving the county's historic places for the benefit of future generations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, meeting this 10th day of March 2020, does hereby honor Supervisor Ed Morse for his public service and wishes him all happiness and prosperity in the years to come.
Motion to approve.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's been a real privilege, and I will certainly miss the many friends on this board. Thank you.
Are there any any more communications?
No.
Nobody else is leaving, that's good. We'll now go to a special order of business. A presentation by the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 409, Blackhawks. Supervisor Schultz, please, would you come to the podium and take the lead on this?
Jim said we only get an hour and 15 minutes. And before I start, I want to tell you, there's a reason I wore my green shirt tonight. My neighbor in this board, Connor Nealon, was born and raised in Ireland, and 1 week from today is St. Patrick's Day. And that's no blarney. So when you have a chance, wish him a happy St. Patrick's Day. The item on the agenda is the presentation of a plaque to Yvonne Dusterhay. When this came up, I'm a member of the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 409. When this came up, not only was there no dissension, immediately as it came up, all the heads in the room were going out. And she is recognized, I think, by everybody as going out of her way to provide good service. Before I go any further, could I have all the veterans stand so we can acknowledge the people that have come here? So we wanted to make this presentation, like I said, all the heads in the room were like, yes, everybody recognized exceptional service, and the veterans in this county are very, very appreciative of it. Raleigh Crothers is also here from the VFW. I believe we have some Legionnaires as well, and there's a lot of this recognition. But to make the presentation, I'd like to introduce Dave Bailing, who is the president of the Blackhawk chapter of the Vietnam Veterans of America, number 409. And Yvonne, if you could come up. Thank you.
You know, I didn't see her. I was kind of wondering, where in the world is she heading out? Got to present it to someone. We all, as veterans, can't say enough about all that Yvonne has done for us. And not a week goes by that I don't hear about something that was had to be done. Like overnight or even or something, providing gas cards and even some sheltering for some people that are in dire need. But I'm not sure, I think it was Chuck that brought this up, but yeah, it was unanimous right from the start. Oh yeah, we can really do that. And let's see, there was a few veterans that worked on this to put this trim on here. They were talking about it. I didn't see that. I'm not really a woodworker, I'm more of a mechanic, but they did a super job on this to bring this up. And I can read it to you. Thank you, Yvonne Dusterhay, for your dedication to helping all veterans, Chapter 409 VVA. And goes without saying, though, that a lot of the veterans there, too, are also Legionnaires and 49ers, and a lot of us wear a lot of different hats and all, but she has been working with everyone, no matter what group they're with. So this has really been special for me. So, I'll let her speak. She'll take up the other hour. So when you're ready, you're prepared for that? There's one other thing. There's a gift card for $50 to go out and have a great meal and probably a show. And that's at the fireside.
So first of all, I'd like to say that I'll be donating this fireside gift certificate to the Veteran Service Commission because I don't accept anything personally. But I'm just almost speechless, and I'm a big crybaby when it gets to stuff like this. But I very much appreciate the appreciation, and I just wish everybody had a job that you got to come to that's as important as the job that I get to do with the resources that I have to be able to help people on a daily basis, I just think I have the best job in the world, and the only fear I ever have is that I'm not good enough to serve everyone. Thank you.
Next is public comment for items on the agenda this evening, and we have no registrants this evening for public comment. So we'll move right into annual reports. The first is from County Treasurer John Johnson.
Good evening. I hereby respectfully submit the statement of the cash received and dispersed in Jefferson County during the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2019 and ending December 31st, 2019. Cash balance on January 1st was $540,252.82. Our total receipts for the year, $132,775,447.77. Our total disbursements, general disbursements, $112,165,684.10. Our payroll for the year, $19,768,997.40. And our cash balance on 12/31/2019 was $981,019.09. For a balance total of $133,315,700.59. To cover the balance was at Premier Bank $3,030,253.27. Less our outstanding checks at the end of the year, $2,049,234.18. Cash balance, December 31st, 2019, $981,019.09. Our interest for the year, I'm not going to read through them all, but you can read them. Our big investments, Dane Investments was $863,042.09, and our general fund at the pool, $337,757.19, for a total of $1,246,728.55. Our investment interest last year was very good. It was over budget. The way it looks this year, it's not looking too good, as most of you understand. By looking at what's going to happen, we don't know where it's going to go, but it doesn't look good for 2020. Our interest on taxes has been going down steadily as the banks tend to tighten up, and we tend to move a little tighter with our foreclosures. We did come close to hitting budget. We're about 4,000 short last year, but I don't see that increasing. If you look back in history, it wasn't too long ago we had 800,000 in interest on taxes. Last year we had 296,000. So besides that, I don't see that changing a whole lot. Otherwise, everything's pretty much normal at the treasurer's office. Everything's going good. Staff is working hard, and appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next annual report is from Register of Deeds, Stacy Hoffman.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to come and speak to you tonight. Talk a little bit about what happened last year and what our goals are for next year. So we had another great year. The treasurer and the register of deeds were easy to come up here and give our annual reports because we're money makers. So, but we did have a great year last year. We had 30% more revenue than we anticipated. And the reason for that is because houses have been selling, and they've been selling for a lot of money. So our transfer revenue has really helped our office out a lot. Another increase is our statewide vital records issuance. I think I might have mentioned last year that you can get your birth certificate anywhere in the state now, no matter where you were born in the state. Well, this year, it started also with marriage certificates, which is really helpful because if you don't have your real ID yet, you need to come and visit me. So all of you know as of October 1st of this year, you're going to need your real ID in order to fly within the United States or to go into federal buildings. So if you don't have that little star on your driver's license, come see me, we'll help you out. Statewide issuances also allowed us to make a little extra money that we would never have been able to. I was at a funeral with a local funeral director, and then he introduced me to a funeral director from a funeral home like 3 counties away. And he was saying how disappointed he is with his registered deeds and their staff. And I jokingly said, hey, let me sell you your death certificates. I'd be happy to. Well, about 2 weeks later, he calls and says, Stace, are you sure you really want to do that? Can you do that for me? I said, sure. He goes, the check is in the mail. I'm going to set up escrow, and you're going to start I'm going to start buying all my death certificates from you. So it's all about customer service, and that's what we aim for in our office. We are also able to import over 400,000 documents of track index information. That means now you can come to our office and search a piece of property, not just by name, but by the location of the property, which is really big for Jefferson County because we never had a track index until 2010. So we were back 35 years. That's pretty awesome. So that's pretty much what we've been working on during the year. I personally have had a lot of things happening, and I can only do it because I have such really awesome staff. So if you get a chance, please stop by. Thank Mary Beth, Kayla, Amber, Julie, who retired, if you see her in about the county, please do that. In 2018, at the end of it, I thought to myself, why in the Registered Deeds Association are we sending emails out to all 70?
Turns out our minutes are a little on the verbose side, so we feel that by paring down some of the text of the minutes, but still maintaining the same transparency and clarity and information involved, we're going to come in under the same budgeted amount, even though the price per line is going up. Also, we think it was a really great opportunity for the first time in a long time, or maybe ever, to be able to have the minutes published in both daily newspapers in Jefferson County, and you can see that it is expected to reach, where does it say here, 7,500 homes, yeah, 7,500 county households. So we're actually increasing the reach of our minutes if people are so inclined to read them. And then there'll always be like a little blurb in the minutes, I think, referring to the website for anybody to get more complete information if they're interested. And the county clerk, and on the newspaper website. Yeah. So.
Further discussion? On the question designating the official county newspaper, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Votes are locked. 26 yes, 1 no, and 3 absent. 2 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Next, coming from the Executive Committee is a discussion of proposed 2020-2022 County Board rules. This is not an action item for this evening. That is within the authority of the County Board that will be seated next month. But we do have the item up for discussion. The table or the floor is open for discussion on County Board rules. You may recall you've received updates on recommended changes to the rules over the past several months. So if anybody has any comments to make at this time, otherwise we'll wait till the new board is seated. Any comments? Supervisor Kennard, please.
As far as the committees, I guess which one is it there, the Land and Water Conservation and the UW Extension Committee being combined. I know the UW Extension Committee voted that down. They don't like that idea. Any overlap between what the two committees do. There is a statutory overlap for whatever reason. It probably dates back to some day when it mattered. At this point in time, it's still a statute, but there's 2 members from UW Extension who have to be on Land and Water. That's basically the only connection. I did ask Mike Kelly if there was any overlap between the committees, because he sits on both, and he acknowledged that there wasn't. So I guess I would be wanting to, if it comes up next month, I would be wanting to amend that to put it back to the original committees.
Thank you. Further discussion? Okay, we'll move on. Next we go to the Finance Committee. Supervisor Jekyll's going to get a workout. If you need to take a break in between, let us know. We can take a cupcake break and give your voice a rest. But for now, let's start with a resolution amending the 2020 Land and Water Conservation Department budget.
Resolution 2019
78.
78. The multi-discharger phosphorus variance is available to wastewater treatment facilities were permitted by the state to discharge treated wastewater via pipe into a waterway. The variance gives facilities time extension to comply with more restrictive phosphorus limits for their discharge. During this time extension, facilities are required to reduce their phosphorus discharge and implement watershed project to help reduce phosphorus pollution that enters water bodies from the land. Non-point sources. Among the options for implementing a watershed project, facilities can choose to make a payment in the amount of $50 times the number of pounds of phosphorus that exceeds their target phosphorus discharge. The funds are then offered to Land and Water Conservation Departments located in their watershed. In 2019, 5 facilities in the Upper Rock River watershed elected to use their multi-discharger variance and choose to allocate funds to the Land and Water Conservation Departments in their watershed. A portion of Jefferson County is located in the Upper Rock River watershed. As such, Jefferson County Land and Water Conservation Department has the opportunity to receive funds to implement projects that reduce phosphorus from non-point sources. The Land and Water Conservation Committee considered this resolution at its February 19, 2020 meeting and recommended forwarding to the Finance Committee for their approval. The Finance Committee considered the resolution at its March 10th meeting and recommended forwarding it to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note. This is a budget amendment that increases the revenue expenditures by $11,129.21. Funds that can offset work of staff implement the program. The Finance Director is hereby authorized to make necessary budget amendments to execute the rest of this resolution. County Board approval requires 2/3 vote of the entire membership of the County Board. Must have vote in favor for the budget amendment. I move for adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded to amend the 2020 Land and Water Conservation Department budget. Discussion. Supervisor Brockler, please.
I'm not sure what makes the difference, but in the executive summary, I'm assuming the Finance Committee met March 10th, not the 12th, which will be Thursday.
If you caught it, that's what I said, so I forgot to say we should amend it.
Very good. Thank you. So technical, yes, they met earlier this evening. Further discussion. Supervisor Morris, please.
So, according to that summary then, it's a variance available to wastewater treatment facilities. And are those the wastewater treatment facilities like the one in Watertown? Or is this other wastewater treatment facilities? Like private?
Ms. Cicero, please.
I'm Patricia Cicero, the Interim Director of the Land and Water Conservation Department.
And this variance is available to any point sources that have to reduce their phosphorus discharges. The 3, actually, not 5, that have elected to do this, and that's the money that we're getting, is the Randolph Wastewater Treatment Facility, the Lomira Wastewater Treatment Facility, and the Horicon Wastewater Treatment Facility, all in Dodge County. But because this money is going to counties in the Upper Rock River Basin, which we are part of, that's why we're getting a portion of their funds. Wastewater treatment facilities in Jefferson County also can consider this variance, but there's a lot of other opportunities that they have in terms of choices to make to reduce their phosphorus discharges. So far, none have made this choice.
Put it another way, they're discharging phosphorus, they pay for that, and then we get a portion of that for programming to mitigate the effects of phosphorus discharge. If that makes sense.
For clarification, does the 5 need to be changed to 3, or is 5 correct in this summary?
Originally, what we thought it was going to be 5, but it ended up being 3. So to be correct, it should be changed to 3.
Kind of technical change, I don't believe an amendment is needed. So if you just reflect that in the minutes, please. Further discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Roll call vote on the motion to amend the 2020 Land and Water Conservation Department budget. 20 votes are required for adoption.
Votes are locked, 27 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
Resolution is adopted. Now from the Finance Committee, a resolution disallowing the claim of John Almasi. Supervisor Jekyll, please.
Resolution number 2019-79. A claim has been made against Jefferson County for damages. The claim has been reviewed by the county's insurance carrier, WMIC, and has been recommended for disallowance based on the finding that the county has no liability in this claim and is not legally responsible for alleged damages. This resolution formally denies said claim filed against Jefferson County and directs Corporation Counsel to give the claimant notice of disallowance. The Finance Committee met on March 10, 2020, and recommended forwarding this resolution to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note: this matter has been referred to Wisconsin Municipal Mutual Insurance Company, WMIC, and will be resolved in accordance with the terms of the county's policy. I move for adoption of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to disallow the claim of John Almasi. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. So good to go, Supervisor Jekyll. Resolution authorizing contingency fund transfer to offset fiscal year 2019 departmental deficits.
You want to do the compensation for elected officials first? That's the one that follows in the packet. Oh, okay. Authorizing contingency, Resolution 2019-80, authorizing contingency fund transfer to offset fiscal year 2019 departmental funds. At the end of the year, county administrator requests budget transfer from contingency or general funds to offset departmental deficits. This request is reviewed by the Finance Committee and acted on by the County Board for approval. This resolution will authorize transferring $37,104 from the contingency fund to various county departments due to expenditures in excess of appropriations in fiscal year 2019. The Finance Committee considered this resolution at its March 10th meeting and recommended forwarding it to the county board. You can see below the basically two departments that need the transfer, and actually, as a comment to that, it's the lowest I think I've ever seen while I've been on the board. Fiscal note, the contingency fund has a balance of $65,975, which $37,104 is needed to offset the expenditures in excess of appropriations for 2019. The vested leave payout due to the retirement and study of Sheriff's Department policies and the Corporation Counsel Department. Autopsy fees were higher than anticipated in the Medical Examiner's Department. As a budget amendment, this resolution requires 20 of 30 affirmative votes of the total membership of the county board for passage. I move for passage of the resolution.
Moved and seconded to authorize contingency fund transfer to offset fiscal year 2019 departmental deficits. Discussion. Roll call vote, 20 votes are required for adoption. Board will stand informal for a few minutes. We'll wait for one member to return to the room to vote. Relax. Relax, grab a cupcake if you'd like. Resolution is adopted. Now finally from the Finance Committee, a resolution authorizing year-end requests to carry over funds for fiscal year 2019. Supervisor Jacobs, please.
Resolution number 2019-81, authorizing year-end request for carryover for fiscal year 2019. At the end of the year, departments are required to submit carryover requests for funds that are unspent. If the county administrator approves the request, it is reviewed by the Finance Committee and acted on by the county board for approval. There is a total of $41,847,913.60 proposed to be carried over from fiscal year 2019 to fiscal year 2020. And of this amount, $14,742,662.72 requires county board approval. This resolution will authorize carryover funds of $14,742,662.72 from the fiscal year 2019 to the fiscal year 2020. The Finance Department is considered this resolution at its March 10th, 2020 meeting and recommended forwarding to the county board for approval. Now therefore it be resolved that the funds and the accounts identified in the Finance Committee meeting minutes of March 10th, 2020 and referenced above totaling $14,742,662.72 are designated as non-lapsing in the 2019 budget and carried over to the 2020 departmental budgets, which they are hereby amended in the respective amounts. Fiscal note, as a budget amendment, this requires 20 affirmative votes for passage. I move for adoption of this resolution.
Moved and seconded to authorize year-end requests to carry over funds for fiscal year 2019. Before we go to discussion, Mr. Waymeyer, resolutions 13C and 13D together reflect on a really, really good 2019 fiscally. Would you care to comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the first thing is just goes back to the team we have here. There's a lot of great efforts of working through some challenges, but also some opportunities. We heard a little bit about some of the revenue projections tonight when the treasurer talked through some of our investment income that went above, and then we had a very good year towards the end of the year with some of the decisions we made related to that. Sales tax was well above what we projected, but we always say it's a cautionary note with both those areas of revenue as we look ahead to 2020 right now. We also had some great opportunities. I'll use examples, human services. They changed some of the billings with some medical aid, and so we saw a significant increase in revenue towards the end of the year that helped out with returning some funds back. And a lot of it's just conversations between the board members and the staff to make sure this works. So there's a lot of things between these two documents and projects that we're going to continue to be able to do that we mentioned the budget address last year. But now we have an opportunity to fund those things and move projects forward for the betterment of the county. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the overview. Discussion. Of a roll call vote, 20 votes are required for adoption.
Votes are locked. 27 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Now to the Human Resources Committee with an ordinance amending 2015-30, that's ordinance 2015-30, establishing a procedure to set elected officials' salaries. Supervisor Brogler, please.
Ordinance number 2019-18. Jefferson County had a compensation study conducted by Carlson Detman Consulting for all county employees in 2012, except the Sheriff Department's deputies, which study also evaluated the elected positions and, based on the duties of said positions, recommended that the following pay grades be assigned to the elected positions: County Clerk grade 12, Clerk of Court grade 12, Registered Deed grade 10, Treasurer grade 10, Sheriff grade 16. This compensation study did not recommend this step within the pay structure that these positions should be placed. After consideration by the Human Resource Committee and County Board in 2014, these positions were all placed in step 6 of their prospective grade in the Jefferson County pay structure, which consists of 11 steps. In 2016, the Human Resource Committee conducted a review of these elected official salaries for the purpose of establishing future compensation. After reviewing comparables from various Wisconsin counties, the Human Resource Committee determined that these elected positions are more appropriately placed in Step 7 of the Jefferson County pay structure and amended ordinance number 2013-26 and established compensation in Step 7 for the Jefferson County Register of Deeds, County Clerk, Treasurer, Sheriff, and Clerk of Courts. In 2020, a review was again conducted on the elected officials, the County Clerk, Register of Deeds, and Treasurer by the Austin Peters Group, Inc., with a recommendation that the pay grades be assigned as following: County Clerk grade 12, Register of Deeds grade 12, Treasurer grade 12. The Austin Peters Group also conducted a study in 2018 for all non-represented employees and recommended that the grades be established to compete in the 60th percentile of the comparable market. This means 4 employers will pay more than the county and 6 employers will pay less than the county. On March 2nd, 2020, the Human Resource Committee reviewed the recommendations from the Austin Peters Group of grade placement in the current salaries of comparable Wisconsin counties. The Human Resource Committee determined that to maintain the 60th percentile through a 4-year term for elected constitutional officers, that the base pay be established by utilizing the step of the applicable pay grade that is close to, but not less than, the 70th percentile of comparable markets for the year preceding the 4-year term. This ordinance amends ordinance number 2015-30 and establishes the base compensation at 70th percentile of comparable counties at the applicable grade and step for each position of Clerk of Courts, County Clerk, Register of Deeds, Sheriff, and Treasurer, using current data for the year immediately preceding the beginning of the 4-year term. If the positions are more than 1 step above the 70th percentile, salaries may be frozen during the term to gradually make necessary adjustments. Compensation may be adjusted by the county board for the cost of living before the earliest time for filing nomination papers for said office in each cycle. Fiscal impact of this ordinance determines that every 2 years at the time of the county board establishes elected official salaries pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 59.22. Once the salaries have been established by the county board, future budget cycles will incorporate said salaries. I move for passage of this ordinance.
Moved and seconded to amend ordinance 2015-30, establishing a procedure to set elected officials' salaries. Discussion. Supervisor Brockler, please.
Just to let some of the new folks know, we have to, by ordinance, have this set in place before anybody can take out papers for the offices. And we're eventually going to have to use this to establish salaries in the future, not in the present.
Thank you. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Votes are locked, 27 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
Resolution is adopted. Also from the Human Resources Committee, a resolution establishing total annual compensation for county elected officials pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 59.22. Supervisor Brockler, please.
Just so you know, this is the resolution that uses what we just enacted with the ordinance. So this is a little more than nitty-gritty. Resolution 2019-82, establishing total compensation, annual compensation for county elected officials. On Tuesday, March 2nd, 2020, the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, that should be March 10th. No, it should be Tuesday, today. On Tuesday, March 10th, 2020, it should read. The County Board of Supervisors adopted an ordinance establishing procedure to set elected salary officials. We just did that. The ordinance established compensation for constitutional elected officers at the 60th percentile of comparable Wisconsin counties of the appropriate grade as recommended by the county's classification and compensation consultant. The ordinance further establishes the ability for the county board to adjust the salary during the 4-year term based on the analysis of several factors. Salaries for all 4 years must be determined prior to April 15, 2020, the earliest time for filing nomination papers for the county's elective office. On Tuesday, March 2nd, 2020, the Human Resource Committee discussed the current market conditions and trends, the internal comparable wages, and Jefferson County's comparable county salaries of the county clerk, register of deeds, and treasurer. After analyzing this information, the Human Resource Committee is recommending a 2% increase for each year of the 4-year term, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, of the Register of Deeds. A 2% increase for each of the 4-year term, same categories of the treasurer, and a 0 increase in 2021 and a 1.432 increase on 2022, a 2% increase in 2023 and 2024 for the county clerk, based on the starting salary of the step that is closest to, but not less than, the 70th percentile of comparable counties in the appropriate recommended grade placement, grade 12 for county clerk, register of deed, and treasurer. Fiscal note. Fiscal note from 2020 to 2021, county clerk, 0, register of deed, $9,779.83, treasurer, $9,779.83. Fiscal impact from 2021 to 2022, county clerk, $1,308.74, register of deed, $1,808.44, treasurer, $1,808.44. Fiscal impact from 2022 to 2023, county clerk, $1,856.03, register of deed, $1,856.03, treasurer, $1,856.03. Fiscal impact from 2023 to 2024, county clerk, $1,903.62, register of deeds, $1,903.62, treasurer, $1,903.62. Total cumulative fiscal impact for the 4 terms from 2021 to 2024 is county clerk, $9,541.88, register of deeds, $50,160.28, treasurer, $50,160.28. Total cumulative fiscal impact for the 4-year term is $109,862.44. Federal insurance contribution, tax, Wisconsin retirement system employer contribution, health, and other eligible fringe benefits will be stated as in this resolution and will be part of the budget process for each budget year. I move for passage.
Moved and seconded to establish total annual compensation for county elected officials pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 59.22. Discussion. Supervisor Brogler, please.
Just some clarification. The amounts seem different because the two offices jump from a grade 10 to a grade 12. But we have 2% across the board, but the county clerk was already at the grade 12, hence why the 0, 1.432, but by the end they're all comparable with each other.
Thank you for the clarification. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Votes are locked, 27 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Finally, from the Human Resources Committee, a resolution accepting Parents Supporting Parents Program grant funding through the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families and creating one full-time well-being coordinator position at the Human Services Department. Supervisor Brogler, please.
Resolution 2019-83. Jefferson County Human Services was recently awarded a 3-year grant from the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families to be one of 3 innovation zones in Wisconsin to implement a Parents Supporting Parents program. Parents Supporting Parenting is an evidence-based model that is aimed at empowering parents with lived children protection service experience as mentors to parents within the child welfare system while simultaneously integrating the voice of lived experience into the Wisconsin child welfare system. Experience with similar programs reported both tangible and intangible benefits, including a greater belief in oneself, hope, knowledge of how to advocate for themselves, organizational skills, access to resources, and weekly meetings and phone calls along with other supports. The new funding will be utilized to create one full-time family well-being coordinator position in the planning year and an undetermined number of full and part-time family well-being specialist positions in year 1 and beyond. In addition, funding will be used to contract with the clinical support providers to attend trainings and for other overhead expenses. The family well-being coordinator will require a bachelor's degree and ideally have professional experience with the child welfare system. They will provide training to their team of family well-being specialists, arrange for clinical support, provide insight of day-to-day tasks of the program, coordinate case management, and provide individual supervision on cases. The total award for the grant is $460,800. The payment schedule for this grant is $77,800 in the planning year 2020, $154,830 in year 1, 2021, and $228,170 in year 2, 2022. After this contract period, Innovation Zones will be eligible for up to 4 annual contract renewals for full implementation of the program at reduced funding levels in 2023 and beyond. Thereafter, these positions will be sustained through cost savings of returned children to their home, utilizing child welfare allocation, combining efforts with other county or counties, and or Medicaid funding through the Comprehensive Community Service Program. On February 8, 2020, the Human Resource Committee reviewed the request from the Human Services Director. On March 10, 2020, the Finance Committee reviewed the request from the Human Services Director. The Human Services and Finance Committees recommended forwarding this resolution to the County Board to accept the grant funding of $77,800 in the planning year 2020 and to create one full-time family well-being coordinator position at the Human Services Department. Fiscal note. The Family Wellbeing Coordinator is anticipated to start April 2020 with salary and fringe benefits of $61,293.47 for the remainder of 2020 and is fully funded through the Parents Supporting Parents grants of $77,800. Therefore, no tax levy is required for these positions. The Finance Director is hereby authorized to make the necessary budget amendments to execute this resolution. This is a budget amendment. The county board approval requires a 2/3 vote of the entire member of the county board, 20 out of 30 members. I move for passage.
Moved and seconded to accept Parents Supporting Parents Program grant funding through the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families and creating one full-time well-being coordinator position at the Human Services Department. Discussion. Roll call vote, please. 20 votes are required for adoption.
Votes are locked, 27 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
Resolution is adopted. Now to the Planning and Zoning Committee, with the report on approval of petitions, followed by the ordinance amending the official zoning map. Supervisor Nass, please.
The Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee, having considered petitions to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, filed for public hearing on December 19, 2019 and February 20, 2020, as required by law pursuant to Wisconsin statutes. Notice thereof having been given, being duly advised the wishes of town boards and persons in the areas affected, hereby recommend the following recommendations. Approval of petitions as listed here, dated the 24th day of February 2020, Elaine Paulson, Secretary. Which ordinance number 2019-19, amending the official zoning map. I move for the amendment of the zoning map as printed.
Moved and seconded to amend the official zoning map as printed. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ordinance is amended. Also from the Planning and Zoning Committee, a resolution adopting a public participation plan to foster public participation before considering proposed amendments to the Jefferson County Comprehensive Plan and Farmland Preservation Plan, also known as the Agricultural Preservation and Land Use Plan.
This is resolution, what was the number? 84. Executive summary, the town of Oakland forwarded resolution 2020-1 to Jefferson County on January 27, 2020. The resolution requests Jefferson County amend its comprehensive plan and farmland preservation plan, agricultural preservation and land use plan to change 2 parcels of land from farmland preservation to 15-year growth area. This amendment would modify the farmland preservation map for the town of Oakland. This change would align Jefferson County's plans with the town of Oakland's comprehensive plan. Section 66.1001 Wisconsin statutes requires a local government unit to adopt written procedures that are designed to foster public participation, including open discussion, communication programs, information services, and public meetings for which advance notice has been provided to the public. The written procedures must be provided for wide distribution of proposed amendments and an opportunity for written comments on the plan to be submitted by members of the public and for the governing body to respond to such written comments. The Planning and Zoning Committee approved this ordinance and attached public participation plan at its meeting on February 24, 2020, and recommend forwarding to the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors for approval. Fiscal note, this resolution will have no fiscal impact. I want people to understand, wait for a second.
No, go ahead.
I move for the adoption of this resolution. We have a second. I just want to let people know this is not part of our overall comprehensive plan that we're working on. This is just an amendment to our present one requested by the town of Oakland.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Resolution is adopted. Now a proclamation proclaiming the month of April 2020 as Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. Supervisor Moe, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Proclamation 2019-11. Proclaiming the month of April 2020 as Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a complex and ongoing problem in our society, affecting many children in Jefferson County. And whereas every child is entitled to be loved, cared for, nurtured, feel secure, and be free from verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse and neglect. And whereas it is the responsibility of every adult who comes in contact with a child to protect that child's inalienable right to a safe and nurturing childhood. And whereas Jefferson County has many dedicated individuals and organizations who work daily to counter the problem of child maltreatment and to help parents obtain the assistance they need. And whereas our communities are stronger when all citizens become aware of child maltreatment prevention and become involved
abuse prevention programs succeed because of the partnerships among families, social service agencies, schools, religious and civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas the Human Services Board at its February 11, 2020 meeting unanimously voted to forward this proclamation to the County Board of Supervisors for adoption. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaims the month of April 2020 to be Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. Fiscal note, adoption of this proclamation will not have any fiscal impact to the county other than the expenditure of staff time. Promotion materials will be funded by outside private donations. Mr. Chairman, I move for the adoption of this proclamation.
Moved and seconded to proclaim the month of April 2020 as Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution is adopted. Now appointment by County Administrator, Mr. Waymeyer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. By virtue of the authority vested in me in Section 59.18, Parent 2, Parent B, the Wisconsin statutes, I respect the confirmation of the following appointments. Mr. Kevin Purcell of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, the Sheriff's Civil Service Commission for a 5-year term ending January 1st, 2025, and Dr. Leslie Golden of Watertown, Wisconsin, the Human Services Board for a 3-year term ending November 1st, 2022. I respectfully request confirmation of these appointments.
Motion to confirm.
Moved and seconded to confirm the appointments. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The appointments are confirmed. Now to appointments by the County Human Services Board. Supervisor Moak, please.
Appointments by the Human Services Board. By virtue of the authority vested in the Human Services Board under Section 3.06, subparagraph 1, subparagraph G of the County Board Rules, the Human Services Board hereby requests the County Board's confirmation of the following appointments. Maurice Schultz, Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, to the Aging and Disability Resource Center Advisory Committee for a 3-year term ending July 1st, 2023. Frankie Fuller, Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, to the Aging and Disability Resource Center Advisory Committee to fill a non-expired term ending July 1st, 2021. Mr. Chairman, I move for the adoption approval of these appointments.
Moved and seconded to confirm the appointments by the County Human Services Board. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The appointments are confirmed. Now to public comment of a general nature. Does any member of the public wish to address the board at this time? Seeing none. Announcements. Are there any announcements? Mr. Waymire, please.
Sorry, I have a whole bunch of fun housekeeping for everybody tonight. So I'm going to start with some good news quick. For those who do not know, the DOT recently released their grants that were funded in the Joint Finance Committee. It was about $75 million that was approved, and I think it was over $1 billion in projects between cities, villages, and counties that got turned in. We got one of those. We were awarded over $1 million, which is one of the highest grant amounts awarded for County Highway N. So we're looking forward to that project moving forward. So a nice positive to put out there. So, as this term ends, we get ready for a new term. So that means orientation, as a reminder, is April 14th. So here are some key times. I know we got some folks who might be new board members, so some of these times are for them as well. So if you're a new board member, we are asking you to try to be in the HR department that evening at 4 o'clock. That's going to allow us to do some onboarding, so doing pictures, paperwork, reviewing per diem benefits, etc. Will take place. Also, for new board members, those who are relatively new who would like to listen, we're going to do a Jefferson County 101/budget presentation from 4:30 to 5:30, probably in room 112. So that's an open invite for anyone who would like that. And just a refresher, if you want to review the budget book with me. But we'll also take care of some miscellaneous items at that point with some of the new board members, such as email access, courthouse security, business cards, etc. Then 536 up here is going to kind of be a meet and greet. So for new board members, old board members, staff, etc., we'll take some time up here. And at 6 o'clock, we'll kick off our formal part of the orientation. And we're going to cover a wide variety of topics, from roles and responsibilities and some items from WCA to open meetings to just updates on projects, the budget calendar, etc. So it's going to be a full night. I'll try to make sure y'all don't fall asleep as we're talking, but there's going to be some important information to put out there as you get ready for the new term. We talked about the comp plan. We have a couple key dates coming up as well for that, for public participation, to build in the theme that Supervisor Nass talked about. So this Thursday, if you're a young professional, we're looking at doing a focus group from 5 to 7 at Neighbors. So if you know someone who fits that from any aspect, we'd like their input as we're planning. These plans are 20 years, so the way I phrase it with some people is our high school graduates this year are 18. This plan's for them when they become 38 or 40 years old. So put that in perspective as the crowds that we're trying to look at as part of that process. We'll also be having some regional meetings coming up, and this is all available on our website and our Facebook page, but to kind of help promote it, on Tuesday, March 31st, these are regional meetings. Tuesday, March 31st at the Bacon Lake Mills, and these are all 5 to 7. Wednesday, April 1st at the City of Lake Mills Municipal Building. Wednesday, April 8th at the Dwight Foster Library in Fort Atkinson. And then on Thursday, April 9th at Palmyra Eagle High School. Again, these are all regional meetings to give some updates of where we're at and get some more public input into our comprehensive plan. And finally, the last thing that put out there, as I'm trying to read my notes, is that we have some editorials we put at your desk. For those who have not seen them from the Watertown Times, it talks about some of the efforts going on among the counties and our communities for collaboration. So the chair asked that we pass those out. So I just want to make sure that you take a look at those. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Christensen, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to remind everybody that with the U.S. Census coming up, the Complete Count Committee is going to meet Friday, March 13th. 2:30 in room 112. So if you have an interest or knowledge, as a lot of people in the room do, of the residents in your area, people that need to get counted that are possibly undercounted groups, that would be a good committee, or a good meeting to go to and give your thoughts, maybe help out. Thank you.
Thank you. Other announcements? Motion to adjourn. So the editorial?
No, this is about candidates for re-election, something that we all signed.
If we could,
this a long time ago?
you did. If we could have those back, I actually give for department heads tomorrow because they have to sign them as well. That was on me.
There's something for you to sign and turn in this evening?
Not for them. I need these back. We're gonna hand these out to the department heads because they have to sign the same ethics forms that the county board members do.
Department head meeting tomorrow. You got a little ahead of themselves. Okay. Motion to adjourn? Okay. Moved and seconded to adjourn. Is there any objection? We're adjourned. Thank you.